this movie is clearly in the body horror Hall of Fame, like one of the greatest body horror films,
right to the top, like
of all time.
It's
like,
up. It's up there.
There could be others, right? We haven't really thought this out at like a making a perfect list level, right?
I mean, there are others.
Cronenberg's got a million of them.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great body horror.
This is at least top 5.
Friends, welcome back to the Messed Up Movies Podcast, a podcast celebrating movies and filmmakers that embrace the unhinged, the insane, the outrageous, the off-kilter, and the all-around kind of messed up fun you can't take your eyes off of. Welcome back. I'm your host, Griffey, here for a new Movie Monday. New in air quotes. So guys, as we redesign this, new doesn't always mean in the theater this week because, you know, life. But a new-ish movie that I think is very clearly the best movie of 2024, The Substance, joined as always by my dear friend, co-host, and the mutated version of me after I take the substance twice.
It's definitely Alex Dandino. I thought you were going to go with something else, but that's good. I like that one. That's good.
Just me, but like maybe a little more bulbous and with worse hair. It's fine. It's a...
whoa. Definitely not worse hair. Definitely not worse hair.
I mean, 100. If there's one quality I have left in this old fucking vagabond's body, it's...
You know what's funny? I had this conversation with someone at my job the other day. They're like, you have really great hair. And I was like, there's other people I know that have great hair.
I know. We might be the best hair pod.
This is the best hair... This is the best hair pod for sure.
See, this is what The Substance taught us. We started body shaming each other, and then we embrace who we are. What's left of us. We
that's the point of the film. You're just like, yeah, I'm okay.
So, guys, quick business. Please go to the Misfit Parade YouTube, Misfit Parade. Watch our short film, Sugar Tits. We have shorts, video versions of all these pods. That helps us out a ton. Find us on all the socials. We got the Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts. All that stuff's a great way to send bite-sized clips of the show to your friends. Let them know what we're working on. Algorithm stuff. That means a lot to us if we could find you there. We're on Blue Sky now. Misfit Parade is on Blue Sky. Go find us everywhere. We're easy to get a hold of. That means a lot. Misfitparade.net or com. You can keep track of everything we're doing. Join the parade with the newsletter so you know as we get into... We got a lot of productions coming up at the start of the year. We would love to keep you up to date on. That would be great. Misfitparade.net or com by the time you hear this. Find us on the internets. That's all. Also, the Messed Up Movies Podcast Patreon is where we are working on growing this show, crafting this show, giving you more great stuff. We have a mini-series on Tales from the Crypt, the Creep Tapes. We're about to start our Black Mirror mini-series. So many amazing delights to show you. That's enough business. We're here for New Movie Monday. We are talking about The Substance.
Yes.
It's the end of the year. I think there's only one more contender for me that could jump this for Movie of the Year, and that would be Nosferatu. I have insanely high hopes. We'll be talking about that next Monday, or 2 Mondays from now. Or maybe this will happen in January, so you'll have to go back in time. Neither here nor there. The Substance is so clearly, far and away, the best movie I've seen this year. It's The Substance, a big jump down to Challengers, which is also an unbelievably phenomenal movie, and then everything else, right? This movie fucking dominates. Alex, I thought we'd start here. I did a video for Looper, right, about my top 5 horror movies of the year. And during that research, I was like, this is the year of female body horror, right? So just going through some of the shows that I think could fall in that. I saw The TV Glow, Cuckoo, The Devil's Bath, Heretic, Oddity in some levels, right? We had 2 fucking nun pregnancies, right? Immaculate and The First Omen. I think The Substance, you could kind of argue more loosely Longlegs. Maxine is very much about how stars in our bodies are taken in by others, right? You've got Alien Romulus has a fucking another horrifying birth moment. We've got, I mean, Terrifier 3, not really body horror, but bodies are mangled constantly.
Sure,
VHS
right.
had a segment like this. We had a new Rosemary's Baby, Apartment 7A. We had Smile 2 is loosely about this kind of, so there's this intersectionality, right, of horrifying births, women seeking celebrity and the crushingness of the public/male gaze.
Right.
Right? And then female body horror, right? There's something in the intersections of COVID, the Supreme Court ruling. There's something in the water that is creating this very potent moment. And I've always thought the best eras of horror spring out of these real life moments that are insanely scary to us as people, and then we just make monster movies out of them. What do you make of this? Because I think this has been one of the best horror movie years in a long, long fucking time. What do you make of this new rise of the female body horror moment?
I mean, I think horror movies have always reflected the political unrest. I don't think anyone
saw Blink twice also, which is fucking great if you haven't seen that. Same exact thing. I
think that horror movies have always reflected political unrest. They've always it's the cracked mirror from the outside world, and we live in a very topsy-turvy world right now. Like no matter what way it shakes out for you, this is not particularly an interest. This is there's that old saying like, "May you live in interesting times." Like hard disagree. I don't want to live in interesting times.
I feel like we've been living in times that need to tone it the fuck down. I feel like for the last, at least, what has it been, 4 years, we've had those memes of like, I can't wait for this year to be over. Next year will be the one. And then it's that same thing. It's the start of Pulp Fiction and then the end of Pulp Fiction meme. I feel like we've been doing that for multiple years now, and it fucking sucks.
Yeah, in terms of female body horror, I think that, there's a lot of... There's so much. We're now crossing this threshold to actually discuss truly what the objectification of women is. Like rather than just be like, oh, that's not great. It's like, oh, this is why it's not great. Like in so many ways. And I think Smile 2 is actually a really good example of this. Like again, but the substance is a head and shoulders there's just nothing else like it. Like, again, it's like I was describing it to because, my wife watches these with me a lot. And I was like, I don't know if you can watch this one. She's like, why? And I was like, well, it's a little gross for you. And I was, we were just kind of going through it. I was like,
you are man protecting.
No, it's.
I love watching these with Amy. So then she looks at me and is pissed the whole movie. And the rest of the day treats me like I'm fucking Dennis Quaid. And I'm like, what did I do? We are fully aware of the irony of two fat white guys talking about these women problems. We get it.
I think that
allies, bro.
It just feels sort of like, again, I think until literally this week, David Cronenberg's The Fly was some of the finest body horror ever. This might have beat it. I'll be honest with you. This is truly unbelievable.
I would love to have that talk at the end of the... where do you put this in the pantheon of body horror? To me, this is an immediate entry into the highest pantheon.
Without a doubt.
This movie...
We can talk about it later, though.
And again, I think that's what this movie hits, though, right? Is it hits the fear of womanhood, but not only that, just the fear of the culture we live in, right?
It's the fear of culture, fear of aging.
On a smaller level, right? Which is we are aging. We are people who are trying to create, right, and make a name for ourselves. And one of the new things, if you want to do podcast, movie, screenwrite, whatever, now your fucking Instagram followers, your TikTok followers, your YouTube followers, that shit matters.
Well,
What's the
show
engagement when he puts stuff out, right? Like, how can he help us promote and market? We're all becoming tools for things rather than creating great things and then marketing them after, right? There is this new society of, if the world doesn't look at us and deem that we have value, we don't, right? Yeah. And you can have all the self-value you want, but the industries at large, as represented by Dennis Quaid's fucking grotesquerie in this movie, we have no value that's not given to us from outside, is how culture feels often. Mm-hmm. So you start at these kind of more obvious fleshy levels, but it's it's the moments where Demi Moore just looks in the mirror, and it's so universally relatable that we all are used to looking in the mirror and it's like, you loser, you sack of shit, like you're nothing. It's devastating.
What you're talking about, though, that is truly the scariest parts of the movie. When she's just staring in the mirror, you're like, Jesus Christ.
That is a truism. Yeah. Dear listeners, this is the truism. You cannot have body horror that goes above and beyond and becomes a true classic if there is not a built-in grappling with how we view our own flesh. That is the key ingredient to these cakes, right? If we don't spend time looking at how we observe our own body and how we do that to other people and weaponize that, it's not going to be a classic. This might be as good as anyone's ever done that part of it, right?
Yeah.
So let's dive into the movie here a little bit. I thought we'd start here. One of the things, is this a style over substance movie? No. The style, the energy, the power of this movie, right? Everything is shot too close, right? We got a lot of fish lens. There's energy, vibrance. The music is thumping, right? We feel youthful energy the whole time as we sit with an aging body. I thought I'd start here because I think the best example of kind of the insane style of this movie is the substance itself. Let's get into the rules of the substance.
Sure.
Essentially, Demi Moore has a car accident and she's watching her old-timey world technology of a billboard being ripped apart, right? She gets fucking jacked up in this wreck and mostly comes out unscathed, but she has this moment to kind of pause and think about the frailty of her body. This hot nurse is just like, your appointment ain't done. And he starts pinching her spine. I was like, is that how the kids are doing it these days? All right, cool. You'd be a great candidate. He gives her a number. This changed my life, right? She calls the number. She gets a USB, right? She watches this ad. The substance essentially is a company that has this pitch, right? Imagine you, but younger, better, a better version of you, right? You take this thing and a new, younger version of you will come out, right? So we get the package, and here's how the substance works. You take the drug. Spoilers on everything if you haven't seen this. You take the drug.
You know what?
You self-replicate. You then have to... Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I got to tell you this. You're about to explain this, and this is the... I realize, like, the beginning, the opener of this movie explains it perfectly. Like, without any words or anything like that. You're like, the egg. Got it. The egg. That's it.
And then later we see her in the bright yellow egg yolk colored coat and realize she's the fucking egg. It's brilliant. She's the egg. It's fucking brilliant. This movie is brilliant. Awesome. Okay, so you take this drug.
Keep going.
You start self-replicating, right? Your cells essentially divide and create two yous, right? This becomes kind of a psychological metaphor for the self-loathing and aging part of you, and then the young, uncontrolled, I have no value for me as an old person side, right? So Margaret Qualley busts out of the back of Demi Moore, right? There's two eyes in her face. It's fucking incredible. Awesome. We'll get to the body horse stuff in a moment. Essentially, she comes out, then has to sew her old self together, right? Sew her back up. Give her this food thing that lasts 7 days. Every 7 days, they must switch. And then she must draw spinal fluid for her to inject in herself. That's the activator that the stabilizer that lets her have a week of her own time. You have to switch every week or there are dire consequences to the body, as we find out. The packaging of the substance, the marketing, it's so simple.
Awesome.
It's so basic. It's so stark. It's like a kind of dystopian IKEA packaging.
You know what it is?
This is so beautiful. It's such an incredible device that they created for this movie.
Well, you know what's fascinating, and this is something I really liked, and this is something is something really LA-ish. But the thing I liked the most about it was the font they use is the boxed water font. If you've ever seen boxed water in a grocery store, it's the boxed water font.
If you've ever paid too much for a stupidly packaged water, you know exactly what this is.
It was perfect.
I want to get in a little lower, though, because just as like this is a Dr. Jekyll and now coming to the stage, Mrs. Hyde story, right?
Right.
That's what we're essentially doing. It's fucking great. I think there are elements in this, though, the simplicity of this kind of chemical experiment, right? It has great fucking rules that must be obeyed the whole movie. That's how these things work well. It's the it follows paradox. Great fucking rule to write a movie around, but if you have trouble following those, it can mess up the movie. This is just perfectly executed, right? I want to dig in a little bit, though, on some of the smaller elements of this that I found to be extra terrifying in the movie. So the thing they keep saying is that you are one. There's not two people now. You are the same person.
Right.
There's an interesting duality in this, right? As we watch these two women never, ever, ever be able to accept that they are one and the same, right? Demi Moore is looking at this younger version of me is doing everything I want to do and can experience, and essentially becomes the mom from Requiem for a Dream, just fucking watching TV and cooking like an insane person. Where Margaret Qualley is like, why would I want to go back to being an old loser that doesn't like her life? I'm going to start taking time. The inherentness of this product. You are the matrix. You are one. Respect the balance. While inherently giving this drug to seemingly only people that have no self-respect for who they are in the moment.
Yeah.
Is an unwinnable phase. There is a weaponization, because you were left to ask, and I wonder what you thought of this. Was this just created as a weapon for people in society that we all kind of naturally are taught to hate? Like, we kind of hate the rich tabloid celebrity thing. Well, how can these celebrities respect the balance? It feels
I think that's an interesting thing. Like, to me, the hardest part about it's like, to me, like, again, it's just the substance is this metaphor for acceptance of just like, it's not even like acceptance of, oh, I'm not perfect. It's like acceptance of, the laws of time and space. Like, it's not like you can prevent yourself from aging. It's part of, the life cycle.
Right.
So to be in violation of that is, I think that's the thing is like, are you willing to be in violation of natural law? If you are, you're probably willing to do a few other things. And I think that's sort of the inherent toxicity of the concept of the substance is, I wouldn't call it weaponization. I'd call it just, I'd call it like the moral, like literally like moral ambiguity in a syringe. Like, you're just like, are you cool with pretty much
just a little, this is why I call it weaponization though, right? Because every time she calls, she's like, hi, it's me, Elizabeth Sparkle. And he just fucking nothing. She goes 503. And he's like, oh my what's God. Up, asshole? And I was like, that is so fucking dehumanizing.
Whoever that voice is, by the way, God damn, that guy. If there's got to be some sort of award. What an incredible voice.
But that's what I mean. He dehumanizes her every time. And he's just like, just respect it. And it's like, I get what you're saying, but that's the same thing to me. Like, if I just set out a bowl of cookies and then every time my son take a bite, I'm like, I hope you like diabetes. It's coming for you, you fucking loser. You have no self-respect. You don't respect the balance, Logan. You don't respect the food pyramid balance, you fucking loser. It's insane. I think that's who takes the substance that doesn't the idea of calling that number, going to the storage unit that clearly has an intentionally malfunctioning door that you have to fucking bend the knee to go under, right?
Okay. We'll get to that, by the way.
This is what I'm saying. It's all built to dehumanize and devalue. Anyone who chooses to take the substance is inherently the kind of person whose younger self will not respect the balance. In the same way that, like, if our younger selves popped out, they would probably look at us now and be like, yuck, not into it, right? If you're taking the substance, you don't have enough self-worth to transport that into the other half, I feel like.
Sure. I think that to use, like, to that point, the weaponization of it ends up being much more about the weaponization of it. To use that theory, then really what the substance is about weeding out society of older people, essentially. Like,
right. But this is the thing, not even just like older people, but specifically older people that we have turned into products of the flesh, and then told them you have no value.
Only products, though, older people that essentially, and I mean, Dennis Quaid does this in the beginning when he does that, just the grossest scene in the movie, him eating shrimp.
Not since Lord of the Rings has there been a grosser eating moment in my life.
Yeah, by far.
He is so fucking we'll get to him. He's fucking body horror 101.
He puts it perfectly, though, which is just like, the substance literally is there to, you almost wonder if he's in on it, because the substance seems like it's just there to get rid of older celebrities that we have no more use for.
Yeah, like, and it is, because he's just like, weird. That old bitch, what is she, 50? She's got no value. I want her younger. I want her hotter. I want her now. Because she's like in the men's room because her bathroom is not working.
So close to Dennis Quaid's face the whole movie. Oh my God.
Oh God, just right up in his mouth and nose. He's fucking awesome. He should definitely get nominated for this movie. He is so fucking insanely, wonderfully villainous in this. Yeah. But again, I think it's this, there is a morality of, hey, find value in yourself. But your clientele only being people that clearly don't have that anymore. I'll say, because again, this is what we were talking about, the key ingredient to these body whores. The best stuff in the movie, unabashedly to me, is watching Demi Moore look at herself. Look at this snow globe Audrey Hepburn version of her that won an Academy Award. This picture, when she throws that at the picture of herself in the workout tape, right? Yeah. We're watching her look to these kind of like dream moments from her past and having she won a fucking Academy Award. And we watch her throw everything away so that she can do a workout show, a morning workout show.
And I mean, this is another reason I think Demi Moore is just like the perfect person to play this part.
I think those three should all get nominated, and Demi Moore should fucking win the Oscar. To me, I mean, I haven't seen everything this year. She is fucking incredible at the and again, it's one of those, you watch her and a person who went through a lot of this, right? Who's been the hot young woman who's aging and then has some work done, whatever, and then the tabloids attack her for having work done and dating.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, she's the perfect person for this because she was a sex symbol, and then she did the cover of Vogue pregnant, like all these crazy things. Like, her body's been on display in ways that,
dude, the G.I. Jane thing was like a huge deal. The G.I. Jane thing, like,
she has been on display for America for so long. Like, she's perfect casting, and she, to that end, like, the way she's able to internalize some of this is just so fascinating and so visceral in ways that like body horror can't do.
Yeah, and again, just watching her and just even the fact that Demi Moore is like, there's no objective criteria. She's a beautiful older woman.
She's incredible looking.
But again, just I think it is so fucking ridiculous when people are like, it's brave. It's brave. It's not brave, but it does take some fucking guts to say, yeah, put the camera on my 60-year-old ass or whatever, right? Show the imperfections, the bumps, like, show it. And she puts her whole self on display.
Is she 60 years old?
I don't know. I just fucking guessed. But yeah. I mean, she was famous when I was a child. Yeah. So I just assume. But, so she's bearing it all. No pun intended, right? We are leaving her on the cold floor as she is to look at a younger version of her.
Oh my God, she's 62 years old. Holy shit.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And she's lovely. But like the scene of the movie to me that's like, this is the best example of this kind of culture run amok. This Dennis Quaid like gaze, right? That has just eaten her out to the core, right? Is that scene when she's getting ready to go on the date with the doofus, right? The girl took too much. She's got a witch finger now.
Yeah.
She's getting dressed. She looks fucking gorgeous. She's in a dress. She's got her makeup on. She's ready to go date. And she comes out and sees that billboard, right? And she starts looking around. She goes back into that bathroom and she's looking at herself. She fucking wipes all her shit off. She's trying makeup again. She's trying to cover her body now.
Yeah.
Because she has recently seen a new, younger, hotter version of a body. She has so little value. The idea of dating this guy from high school who's an objective doofus, the idea that she's not as hot as this other version of herself that's in the fucking bathroom with her, and we watch her violently, intimately start taking herself apart and going out in her bathrobe to do this fucking, shut-in routine. And then just that matched with that cooking sequence is where that's the shit where I'm like, Demi Moore has taken this to a next level of just ripping her heart open and bearing all of this pain.
Right.
And that, to me, that scene is the best scene in the movie. And that encapsulates all of these fucking fears and anxieties so perfectly that make all the gags amazing.
Yeah.
But that's shit you gotta hit.
That's the one you gotta get for the movie because that's what makes it the best. Like, I think that's it's
an
the key
intimate
component.
moment like that. Like, it is one of my cinematic catnips is actors looking at themselves in the mirror and acting against self. Right? There's nothing that a body horror image can do, practical, CG, anything, that will ever be as intimately haunting as that moment. It's just impossible. And when you have the right actress who's really fucking going all the way, that's what, her check-ins at the mirror are the most important element in this movie that has some of the most incredible shit you've ever seen in it.
Yeah. It's just, again, I'll say it again. Like, the body horror in this movie is fucking awesome. Like, it's really, really cool. But it doesn't mean shit if there isn't this huge emotional component, and Demi Moore just like nails it. Even Margaret Qualley's character
Qualley is fucking incredible.
Holy shit. Like,
well, even her moment, imagine when
it.
because there's this one moment where for the only moment in the movie, we do this like little dream sequence where we're like, oh shit, Sue is guiding the ship now. We're seeing Sue's inner trauma, right? Her inner whore. Where she's doing the, you've got to pump it up, you've got to pump it up. And this giant bump appears on her ass and she's like, ah! And she pauses. The other moment of just all these male crew like, let's watch it together in frame by frame. And you watch her panicking. And then she turns to her like assistant, this, younger lady, right? And she's like, get me the one. So she turns and immediately victimizes another woman because these men are watching her ass in slow-mo and she's afraid they'll see an imperfection. Right? Even when Margaret Qualley is born, we see she's got 3 like Uncle Buck-style giant moles or birthmarks under her tit. So even she's not perfect. We're building in the fact that she also has this. Right? And then we do the body horror of the chicken, which is great. But that moment of her panicking as the perfect version of a young sex symbol is watching these guys frame by frame watch and judge her body. And the tear that she will find something, right? The beautiful use of Demi Moore's cracked publicity photo. The billboard being right outside of the condo is a brilliant, constant hanging Damocles sword throughout the entire film. And I think setting that shit is what makes this work.
I wanted to ask you about the storage shed. So the storage shed where she gets the substance only opens like, what do you say? Like maybe like 4 feet, something like that?
Oh, not even, like 2.5.
Okay.
Demi Moore's probably 5'5" on a good day.
So as Margaret Qualley's character starts abusing the time, she basically is taking the stabilizer fluid, which is essentially cerebrospinal fluid, out of Demi Moore. When she does this, like, it ages Demi Moore really rapidly. So
what is taken on one side is paid on the other, is how they say it. Yeah.
So the final like time this happens, Demi Moore's character wakes up and she's like a hunchback. Did you think for a second there would have been a payoff with that storage unit door coming up like halfway? I'm like, oh, she fits now. Maybe that's why it only comes up as like,
think of that.
Oh, dude, that was my first thought when she came back as a hunchback. I was like, whoa. So everybody who takes the substance ends up like this.
Oh my God. So that is a weapon. They knew it. This is some kind of fucking college experiment. Some guy got snubbed on a reality dating show and he's like, I'm going to go fucking become a molecular biologist and fucking have my revenge. I'm going to kill hot actresses that wouldn't blow me. This is for certain a revenge plot then. I didn't even think of it. But again, just to like go to this place that you would never normally go. Come in here. There's all these, you see, there's like 50 of these. It looks like a P.O. box wall, right?
Yeah.
I think those constant, like the other scene that is just beautiful to this kind of mental horror aspect is watching Demi Moore watch Sue. So Elizabeth is watching Sue as she's doing the French cooking, and she's going apeshit in the kitchen, and she's ripping that turkey apart as we're watching Pump It Up.
So
Butts.
good.
And she's just like, tell them your secret. And then Sue, she's like flashing the TV, and Sue's like, yeah, it was Jurassic Fitness. And you watch these two women from afar just fucking hate each other, not respect the matrix. And then eggs are flying, and it's fucking gnarly and great.
Yeah.
Again, I think that element of the movie just, it fucking rips my heart out, man. It's so fucking gutting. And again, we're not celebrities, but it is relatable, right? To every time you post a podcast, you're like, maybe this is the one people will finally find value in us. And if they don't, you're just like, we suck. We got to change everything. It's that universal, we cannot dictate our own value. A voice on a phone, Dennis Quaid's disgusting fucking bulbous face right in our fucking shit. Even our own selves damaging us. And the hatred of them versus their selves. Because it's played on screen as an opposition, but it's you hating yourself, the destruction of what you are, what's left of you. That's where the real scary stuff comes. Now, this movie is clearly in the body horror Hall of Fame, like one of the greatest body horror films,
right to the top, like,
of all time.
It's up. It's up there.
There could be others, right? We haven't really thought this out at like a making a perfect list level. right?
I mean, there are others.
Cronenberg's got a million of them.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great body horror.
This is at least top 5.
Yeah, if you're not saying this is immediately a contender for the Pantheon, the Mount Rushmore, you're out of your fucking mind. The gags in this movie are ridiculous. They are they're the ripping out of the own body. Here's like a subtle body horror thing. What did you make of them just leaving each other in these cold fucking floors? Like, the only dumb thing in the movie where I laughed is that Sue just is awoken and immediately knows high-level carpentry. That was kind of insane. But she essentially builds a fucking chamber of the mind, right? So you let it slide.
Sure.
Where she just dumps Demi Moore like she's fucking useless, like out of sight, out of mind. Before that, they're leaving each other naked on the fucking bathroom floor.
Isn't the irony in this movie, the one you give for this movie is, you know what? Carpentry. I'll let that one go.
It's like, this was clearly written and made by people who have never fucking swung a hammer. No big deal. Like, that's fine. There's probably all kinds of fucking wiring and piping back there. Like, that's a lot of work. This is not something you just knock out in 7 days by yourself.
There's like 10 art department guys who built that bathroom. Like, God damn it. They just think it's so easy, don't they?
Where's the scene of Sue walking around Menards getting ogled? That's what I was looking for. You got any 16 pennies? No, okay. All right. That's the scene, my old ass one.
That's the scene we all missed. I mean, the theater of the mind thing where they're just stuck in this void. Like, it's not even like there's no walls even. Like, it's just a voided room.
It just looks like and they even shoot it a lot where it's like they're in the light and then there's just this infinite blackness around to give it that kind of abstract feeling.
Yeah. I mean, the only light source is from the door opened. Mm-hmm. You never see the back of the room, and then as things get progressively worse, like as Margaret Qualley takes the body for a ride, it gets progressively. I can tell you the grossest thing in this movie for me. That wound made me physically
when she is injecting it, and Margaret Qualley's like, oh, I was like, oh, because she comes in with all these ball jars. She's like, you old sack of shit, and she fucking starts draining all of her fluid. And they do a title card that is so painful where it's just like 3 months later, you're like,
oh, God.
We saw the leg go, we saw the gray hair, we saw the witch finger, and we're like, every time she doesn't, because the first time she's just like, I got to bang this weird Matt Rife from Wish.com. And, I just got to get this dick, so I'm going to take an extra day or two. And she gets a witch finger, and you're like, so what does 3 fucking months do? When they unveil this little Popeye the Sailor Man hunchback version of Demi Moore, just covered in bed sores, bent, misshapen, right, hunched back. Her little fucking titties, dude. It is one of the most But again, we still have Demi Moore's eyes, or our fucking shuttle through this, where she takes herself in.
Dude, legit eyes though. Like, I mean, glazed over old people eyes. It's Demi Moore's eyes.
Not even that. Fucking fiery rage of hell eyes.
Yeah.
And it is one of the coolest, if not most heartbreaking moments I've seen in a movie in years. It rips your guts out. And then she calls, she's like, I want to fucking stop. And the guy's like, are you sure? You want to be alone and be just you? Are you sure?
You want to be alone?
Irreparable fucking damage to the time-space continuum, but I can't possibly fix it. It's like, all right, weird Doctor Who villain, bring it down a notch. I bet you could fix it, you fucking liar, you terrorist. But even in that moment, she's haunting, because it's like, is this what you really want? You're going to be stoked to spend 7 days as this? Are you sure? Because she gets the terminate vial, right? When you're not happy with the substance, you can terminate with this syringe of black ooze, right? It's like an evil Pulp Fiction moment. But again, watching these body gags. And before we get to all the gags, right? I think the body horror often comes into play, right? Like I think a lot of it is through the fucking mouth of Dennis Quaid. Him eating, him being too close to camera, him pissing and not washing his hands as he talks shit about her.
Smoking a cigarette, like, well, that cool, even the way he smokes is just so like fiendish. It is like, dude, they're not going to take it away from you. Relax, like take a drag. He's just
it's also one of those, because all the men that we see, like that scene at the end where Sue is pulling her teeth out, right? They're doing the sugar tit shot, right, and ripping teeth out. And
you should get some money for that.
Yeah, we're the only ones who've ever done that gag.
You guys are the only ones who've ever done teeth pulling.
Played at Atlanta Film Festival. There were 3 films in that block that all had a tooth pull. And we all were laughing, drinking afterwards. We're like, we all did it the exact same way. There's one way to shoot a tooth pull, apparently, and we all do it. But just being in his mouth, he's a fucking old, weird, like, cowboy dude with, like, a fucking boof haircut. All the old men that are just like, yeah, and he's like, pretty girls should always smile. And we know she's got no fucking teeth and her mouth's full of blood, and she tried to force that smile. Those moments of intimate body horror, right? Just leaving your other self on these cold floors, right? The spinal fluid, the way we watch Dennis Quaid just consume these women is very underrated. I feel like most people I talk to, we all come to Dennis Quaid and we're just like, wow. Like, of all the shit in this movie that you should talk about is insane and unforgettable, I do think he will go down as like the most repulsive thing in the movie.
Oh, I think he's by far the most, like, I don't, like, you can put as many body horror gags as you want in front of me. Like, look, I think fingernails are gross as hell. Like, all that
fucking,
shit is.
I don't know why but even then she pulls her fingernail off, her ear falls out. A guy gets in the elevator and is just like, hey, what's up? You ready? He doesn't even notice her pain.
Still nothing grosser than watching Dennis Quaid eat shrimp. Like,
the shrimp is the grossest, followed by the pus-filled back wound.
Yeah,
Dennis
those
Quaid
two things.
Eating and wiping
gross.
his hand. Like, when they cut back and he just, like, he looks back at that waitress's butt and then he's like, hey, fuckface. And he, like, runs away from her because he's just done with her. He's like, why do I have to explain? You're old and gross. She's just left at this table and they look down. It's like a Chernobyl level event. There's just fucking sauce and fucking half shrimps everywhere. And it's like, that's such gross. Beautiful visual storytelling because that's what it is, right? That's what he does. He consumes and leaves the husk of you, right? How about the moment when the hot nurse is the old man? He's like, have they started taking from you yet?
Yeah.
That moment is like, again, those moments are so fucking scalpel sharp. They cut right into your softest spots. Because this is a question you're left asking yourself as the body horse starts unfurling. Would you take the substance?
No.
And I think most people still would. I think most people would gamble like, my young hot self will be fine. I
legitimately hope not, but ugh.
I don't know. I don't know, dude. Okay. We have to get to what puts this in the Body Horror Hall of Fame, which is the finale. This is going to sound like hyperbole, this has to be like one of the greatest last 30 minutes of any movie ever made. It is an all-out, visceral, sensory assault on the audience.
Like, it's like a freight train. Like, it just like, it's like a freight train campy. At the top of the hill.
How did we get here? Yeah. Whoosh. Just fucking steam. Because did you expect, is this kind of like hyper-stylized, very high concept, essentially sci-fi horror movie? Did you think it was going to go this fucking hard at the end? Did you imagine this camp monster masterpiece finale?
I don't think I imagined like the like Alyssa Sue monster.
Monstro Alyssa Sue. This is another one of those, having grown up loving Japanese horror movies. I was like, that shit is written all over this movie.
Yeah.
For certain.
I think that I wasn't expecting that, but I accepted it really quickly. What I was not expecting at all was like the just blood spraying mayhem. That was the part I was like, whoa.
God.
And I think
God, yes.
And you know what's really interesting about that, though, is that was the part of it. I've watched this entire movie, and I was like, because, you know, we do the Letterboxd reviews, and I was like, man, this is kind of losing me. Like, this is sort of uninteresting. I'm not sure. And then again, and this is like to her credit, just like, again, it's just like the blood spray. I'm like, I get it. Like, I understand. Like, it's, you know, just blood spray mayhem. Totally cool. Whatever. Not that I haven't seen anything like that before. I get it.
Yeah.
Again, like, this is, I can't remember. I don't know how to say her last name, but Coarlie Fargeat. Foray. I don't know how to say it. But either way, the filmmaker is awesome because I think she knows. She's like, okay, if I'm going to like just blow fake blood all over the screen, I'm going to pay this shit off in spades. And it fucking killed me at the end, dude.
So,
oh my God.
That final moment, because again, this movie has those big bombastic, like she's painting the halls.
Yeah.
Right? But when she's just walking on Hollywood Boulevard and her leg explodes, she explodes like a balloon.
Yeah.
But then Elizabeth's face, which has been on Monstro Elizasu's back, covered in the dress, and stuck in this voiceless scream.
Yeah.
when she crawls and she ends on her
Dude.
star, and the glitter comes down through the palm trees, and everyone's cheering, and she sees, this is the thing, what does she see though? Older Demi Moore. She sees herself as she was at the start and was like, wow, hell yeah, I want to be that again. And then just melts into a puddle. And
So
the total
good.
indignity of then just some guy street cleaning it away. Hollywood streets are paved with the blood of fucking celebrities.
Unbelievable.
That just get chewed up and go. It's just a pitch perfect ending. So we started on the star, watching it constructed to who cares. And then at the end, we're just back to she's another footnote. I'm assuming this would make the news. I'm assuming this would be a big fucking deal. But you're struck by as all these gags are unfurling, right? Margaret Qualley in the hallway with these fucking gross old men. The Monstro Elizasu, it's me, it's still Elizabeth. And like her Chewbacca voice.
Yeah.
She made it to the stage. That's what Elizabeth wanted at the start of the movie. She made it. She got what she wanted. Just not how she wanted it. It's fucking, and then those guys are just like, monster, and they're pushing her and jostling her. It's fucking devastating. The thing in that scene that really fucked me up, though, they kept cutting back and doing this slow push-in on the spotlight. This is the cost of the spotlight. This is what you wanted. This is what you want people to see.
Yeah, the cuts at the end are exceptional. Like, again, that sort of like fast cutting technique sometimes that I think takes people out of, like, it takes the piss out of a lot of these sometimes. This really, that frenetic style didn't bother me at the end of this. Like, it was really interesting.
It's not really frenetic to try to cover up things, which I think a lot of frenetic cutting is to try to mask things, right? It's like a Bourne Identity did this, right? Where the fights are cut so fast you can't really see anything.
Right.
It's a masking agent. This one still feels perfectly orchestrated, where we're seeing everything we want and need. All right, let's go through some of the gags, though. We've got the teeth and the nails falling out. We've got, you know what one that really fucked me up? Because when Monstro Elizasu appears, it's fucking crazy because Margaret Qualley's like weeping. She's like, please give me a better version of me. She also, the perfect version of her that we saw promised, also feels not enough, which I think is an important thing at the end. Monstro Elizasu comes out. When she's just doing her hair in the curling iron.
Oh my God, yeah.
Comes off and she just kind of looks at it. And then she cuts Demi Moore's face out. The face that she hated so much, she took the substance and puts it back on with the lipstick. It's so just the tragedy of futility of trying to defeat aging, to trying to appease men that don't care because you just hit a threshold of uselessness to them because you're not a hot, young, bombastic, whatever. It hurts.
So good.
It hurts. But then she vomits a titty out of her side mouth. She's got teeth where her boob should be. Some guy bashes her fucking head like a water balloon, and another head comes out. They rip the arm off and spray what must have been just thousands of gallons of blood on everyone.
Yeah.
The explosion at the end, the this and that. There are so many insane. How about her just putting the earring right into her flesh?
Oh my God, yeah.
It's fucking. Ugh. I mean, the monster work in this is unreal. It's unreal. I'll tell you another body horror thing that really fucked me up. Here's another devious part of the substance, is that she is not the Matrix. You can't separate and have two separate lives. Although what they're inherently telling us with Monstro Elizasu is that Sue is a byproduct and she's a half a being who does not have enough in her to create another version. And so that's where the mutation comes. That's kind of an insidious little thing you think about later. When they look at each other, and Margaret Qualley has that fucking hateful rage because Elizabeth tried to destroy her. She takes in Elizabeth's monstrous form and is just like, yeah, she has a right to be mad. This is kind of fucked up what I did. Not cool. My bad. I'm the bad roommate. Yeah. She starts attacking her like she's goddamn Gerard Butler in the 300 and beating the dog shit out of this old woman.
Dude, Jesus Christ.
And this is the thing. Not only is the assault just vicious and mean, and she bashes her fucking face in, right, to the mirror so many times. And it's like one of those things that hurts your body physically. Then she kicks her across the fucking room again and just kicks her in the ribs so many times. It's awful. It's devastating.
Yeah. The brutality is just unmatched.
The part that fucks you up, though, again, right before that assault happens, She picks her up, and they both must look at themselves and each other in the mirror. Is if she's telling Elizabeth, you want this too. You want to be put out of your misery. I am all that is valuable in you. Even Elizabeth at the end, who's going to terminate this fucking monster
even
who
she goes,
her,
I can't do this.
She sees the flowers. She sees the billboards. Right? And then she hears the voice from the hotline in her head, like a psychic call, like, are you sure? So he has like nanobot speakers now. Are you sure this is all that will be left? And even the substance is now reminding her how little value she has because her physical body is not fuckable.
Right.
Right? Although I do feel like, I don't know, still weirdly.
Don't say it. Nope. No. Nuh-uh. No.
I feel like we're having the splice argument again where you're like, it's a novel concept.
No.
No? Okay. We won't go there. It's fine.
You know why? Because we've already done this on the other show, and I know the answer. So, like,
I feel like every show eventually comes back to this place, but I mean, what else am I doing? It's a Tuesday night. You're swiping, you're scrolling. Never mind. Neither here nor there. Neither here nor there. But it says those. But see, that scene is different than the end. The end is kind of comically fun, monster effects, practical. It's fucking great. The devastation of the mask, and then it falls off, and she's unfurled. That moment of Elizabeth being like, I need you. I fucking hate myself. I need you. That is so brutal to watch. And then I think it's just that low-key, like, this is just getting fucking jumped in the street violence. Like, you're just getting your fucking ass beat. It's not fun. There are gags of her, like, flying across the room. The substance gives you fucking superpowers. But just the kicking her in the ribs, I was like, this is so fucking
fucking mean, dude.
Mean.
Yeah.
That's the thing. This movie is fucking mean.
It's just mean.
And I think that's what I take away from this movie more is it's so... I think what the movie's telling us in that moment with the two of them, right, is that no one ever can hurt us as much as we hurt ourselves, right? That's why the kicks are superpower kicks, because of course we can kick ourselves further than someone else can. And getting back to that, just the self-hatred of this movie, the not being able to find value, wishing for this dream world where it's all glitter and everyone loves us. Elizabeth becomes trapped in a snow globe just like that. But it's a snow globe of fucking self-loathing, right? Which is probably where most of us spend time. And it's such a fucking valuable... Because there's a part of me when it ended, I was like, I feel like this movie is unnecessarily cruel to Elizabeth, right? Like, how was Elizabeth supposed to react and handle this? We made her something that is not natural and then took it from her, right? We hollowed her out. And so when she reaches for a fix, we're like, oh, well, that's bad too. You're a monster. It's like, she's not a monster. We made her that. We made her this inhuman form. We
invent these monsters ourselves. We just never get it. We never see them. That's the problem.
This is the body image debate that happens all the time, right? Is that we made her unable to be happy existing. And just being an insanely hot and successful 62-year-old, right? Like, so I was like, it's mean. But then I was like, the movie focusing in on its self-hatred, self-mutilation, I think, unlocks a lot of that, right? So, Alex, we're coming to the end here. What was your most messed up moment of The Substance?
Ooh, I've been thinking about this. I mean, there's a lot of messed up moments. Mm-hmm. This is a strange one because, again, it's hard to pick one. But the one I am going to go with was the very end when her like face emerges from the blown up monster. Yeah. And it's just that shot of her face crawling across. That is so viscerally disturbing. Something about that I was just like, that is so sad and gross and all these things mixed together.
Perfect bow on this horrifying. Here's the thing. To not choose Dennis Quaid eating feels...
I know. We've said it like a million times.
But if I'm picking my favorite messed up moment of this movie, it's French cooking time. Is she's like fucking starting to fall apart, and she's like cramming her hand in that turkey as we're like cutting to pump it up, taint shots, and she's fucking whipping the eggs and they're falling all over. She's like, ah! Like, there is a mental collapse happening on top of, like, her treating the turkey like it's Sue and like herself. There's kind of a visual madness in that moment that I cannot get enough of. So to me, I'm picking that as my most messed up moment. And again, there's fucking 100 of them in this movie. You can't go wrong.
It's hard to pick. It's hard to pick a messed up moment.
I think for this movie, though, you owe it to yourself to pick a moment that captures the flesh and the mind. And I think French cooking... But really, it's probably Dennis Quaid, let's be real. That fucking eating. If someone ate like that with me in public, I think I would be like, we have to kumite to the death right now.
We're done. We're done. I would just be like, I have to leave.
This. It's a crime against the world.
Everything about you is bad, and I have to leave.
That waitress with her butt cheeks hanging out would just be in the corner. No! As I'm fucking murdering him in real life. Neither here nor there. All right, I want to finish with this question.
Yeah.
Can The Substance win Best Picture?
Ooh.
For a movie like this to win Best Picture, I feel like would be a long shot, but I think it would be fucking criminal if it's not nominated. I think it should have a shot to win Best Picture. Can it do it?
I think that the Academy is a little bit looser now with how, like, again, Shape of Water getting to win Best Picture was kind of...
Everything Ever All at Once?
Everything Everywhere All at Once. Like, I think we're starting to all come around to the fact that it's okay for movies not to be just like World War II dramas.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be like a very serious, like, historical piece. This one captures the moment, the vibrance, the anger, the rage. It's beautifully done. At every level of craft, this movie excels. The
I'm going to say
insanely good. Can it win Best Picture?
I'm going to say yes because it does all the things a Best Picture movie could do, plus hits genre beats. That's the
thing. I feel like they disrespect genre. But to me,
very much so.
What is the point of Best Picture?
But it transcends. It transcends.
Yes, it should be a movie that captures the cinematic truth of the moment.
Yeah.
I think people don't. The only other movie I saw that I would say at an artistic level is close to me is Challengers. Challengers is a kind of more standard tale, right? It feels like it'll have an inside lane. I'm sure there's some stuff I haven't seen yet. To me, though, nothing will capture the moment in cinema that this year was more than The Substance. Again, that fucking rage, the speaking truth to the fucking terrifying reality we're in.
Yeah.
This movie nails that. This movie should be the front runner for Best Picture.
I'll say this. If it's not going to get nominated for Best Picture, it should get nominated for sure. If it's not going to get nominated for Best Picture... Demi Moore
should get nominated and Dennis Quaid should get nominated. I'd be stoked if Margaret Qualley did too.
It needs to win Best Sound Design. I will say that.
It got nominated at a Golden Globe and Demi Moore got nominated as well, which is cool.
And Margaret Qualley.
If you're an Oscar nerd like me, and Margaret Qualley, absolutely. If you're an Oscar nerd like me, I know a lot of people hate the Oscars, this would be a moment to bring people back. If The Substance wins, it will be a sign that the Oscars are adapting and changing with us, and people will come back in the fold. I'm telling you, this is a moment for the Oscars to ascend! Inject yourself with some cinematic substance, Oscars. Please, please, please. Neither here nor there. All right, that's it. Alex, what a fucking wonderful movie, man. This, so good. I mean, just incredible. We are so lucky to live in times where we get movies like these. Just an absolute tour de force, to use some poster language. That's it for The Substance. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did. Would you take The Substance? Did you see old Popeye Demi Moore and go...
Nope.
Just me?
Nope. Just you.
Well, I've always liked damaged women like my wife, and just really bringing back that Dennis Quaid energy to end. All the women that are like allies now hate our guts.
You just need shrimp. You just need a cold bowl of clam chowder, and you can get the same Dennis Quaid vibes. Speaking of that,
watch our short film Sugar Tits.
Go watch Sugar Tits.
You can see me in a Dennis Quaid adjacent role. It's on our YouTube, Misfit Parade on YouTube. Please subscribe there. You can see video versions of these pods, so you can see me really questioning, would I or wouldn't I, in the flesh. That means the world to us. We got shorts, we got TikTok, Instagram, little clips we'd love for you to send to all your friends. Please, 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 please. We are loving the new change over here at the Messed Up Movies Podcast. Again, new movie Mondays, The Abyss on Wednesday, where we talk about older, curated, messed up movies. And then Filmmaker Fridays, we're interviewing friends and filmmakers, and it has been so fucking fun. We hope you're enjoying everything. Go to the Messed Up Movies podcast Patreon page to support the show, join the community, and help us make this thing even fucking better. It would mean the world to us. Thank you for all that you do. Make sure you're leaving 5-star ratings and reviews. Everywhere you find pods, you can comment and like on Spotify now. I know it's a lot. We ask a lot. But if
It's worth it, though.
If you don't want us to shit can you for a younger, hotter audience, this is what you got to do.